Hello again, I'm Brian Milam, and this is Everyday Kentucky, and we are off the bench today at Lafayette High School with Katarina Salisbury, a senior bowler, but who also has other talents. We'll get into that on Off the Bench. Tell me how you got into bowling, and what about it is so strategic for you?
Yes, so it's a funny story. I started later than most bowlers. I started my sophomore year because the girls' team coach, she was my substitute teacher, and she came in one day and was like, the girls' team needs more bowlers. Like, we will take anyone. You need to have no experience. And I was like, bowling sounds fun. I didn't know it was a sport, but it was something I wanted to try, and I stuck with it, and here I am.
In a short amount of time, how good have you become?
I've gotten a lot better. I wouldn't say I'm good, but for me, it's a fun sport. It's definitely a lot harder than I thought. There's a lot of mental work that goes into it, and it's a lot about just technique and repetition.
Sure. And
just hitting your mark every time.
You also have a unique situation where you're vocal major.
Yes.
I can't carry a tune. How good of a singer are you?
I'm not the best in Scappa, but it's something I love doing, and they really encourage us and help us to just really work on a lot of classical techniques, which, like breath support and just really projecting and how you sing, the image that you put out there.
Did you just know you could sing? Was it a trait that you just knew that you had at an early age?
I think so. My dad was an amazing singer, and so we always used to go to church and sing together. And then as I got older, my dad passed away about 10 years ago, and so singing was one of the things that really connected me to him, and it was something I definitely wanted to pursue to keep those memories alive.
You have an ability to connect with people in a way to help them get through tough times. Tell me about that.
Yes, so I was bereaved at a young age. I lost my dad when I was 5, and my grandmother died unexpectedly about 4 years ago, and I really struggled for a while.
Sure.
I was in middle school, a teen going through grief, and I felt like I didn't have any supports. But then I found a lot of amazing resources, the National Alliance for Grieving Children and the Kentucky Center for Grieving Children and Families. And it basically just gave me a platform to connect with other teens and kids who had been through grief and understood a lot of the experiences I had gone through.
Right.
And I try to use that to be an advocate now, because I've worked a lot on myself and my grief, and I hopefully, am able to be an advocate for kids who are still finding it hard to share their stories.
Right. One thing when it comes to grief, there are thousands of outlets, positive outlets. There is dog therapy, but you also deal with horse therapy.
Yes, equine therapy. I started about 4 years ago with Annie's Answer, an equine therapy nonprofit. And so it's basically just horse therapy for kids. We take them out to the farm, and they just get out into the open air and just release a lot of, negative emotions. And it's a real safe space for them. And of course, working with horses is always fun.
Katarina, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. That's Katarina Salisbury at Lafayette, a senior bowler for the Generals, and she has come off the bench with us on Everyday Kentucky.